watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That your truth leads to your calling, and your calling leads to the energy that gets brought up within you so that you can go ahead and make an impact. And then that impact that you make becomes your legacy.
Shame on everybody for not celebrating this. Sports is not supposed to be political. It's supposed to unite the country. The politicization of the sport, and it's just not right. The hypocrites are coming out in droves, and it's unfortunate that we can't take one of the greatest moments in sports and all celebrate it. It's real shame.
Please welcome Danica Patrick and Jeremy Roenick.
What's up, Arizona? Are you guys excited as we are? We're about ready to embark in one of the biggest elections in our lifetimes. I hope you guys understand that. We can't let the liars win. We can't let the hate win. We can't let the corruption win. Right? We can't let it happen. We're all patriots in this room, and we love America. And if you love America, you're going to get out in November and you're going to bring the people into office. You're going to come vote for the people who are going to give Donald J. Trump the last 2 years of the most important presidency of our lifetime to finish off a job that he has done for all of us. So God bless Donald J. Trump and God bless America.
Made Jeremy come out and do all the really heavy lifting with the excitement. I knew he'd do a much better job of that. I'll get down to the nuts and bolts of who we're going to introduce here. First off, it's good to be back at a Turning Point event. You guys always do such a spectacular job. It's so good to see all of you, see all the hats out there. In fact, Turning Point AmFest 2023 was the first political event I ever went to, and I haven't stopped since. And that's right. And I've never been paid $1. Unlike those protesters out there, probably. There's 3 things that come across with Jay Feeley, who's coming out next. He has, he kicks, that's for sure. He has incredible dedication. As an athlete, we know that is the name of the game. It's a narrow focus. It's do whatever it takes. He has that. He has integrity. He's a good human being, a good family man. The nuclear family is something that we need to encourage to bring back everywhere. He's a good human being. And he has faith. Appropriate to be here in a church today to say that, but he does. And he prayed about doing this very job that he's embarking on. So I'm honored to be up here with you. Look, I think that he also, a lot of those traits are very reminiscent of the late Charlie Kirk, who we all miss so much. So it's time to vote. It's coming up. We're back again. We might not be able to convert people, but I bet we know somebody that hasn't voted before, and that's the person you got to go grab, and there might be more than one of those. So please welcome the great Jay Feeley.
I got to get the right podium first. Thank you, JR and Danica, for being here. I want to give it up to all. We got a bunch of athletes that came out here, Arizona athletes. Kurt Schilling flew down for this. Tom Chambers is down here. Jay Bell is there. Christy Kerr is down here. It takes a lot of courage for these athletes to come. They don't gain anything. They lose things. They lose endorsements, but some things are worth more than money, worth more than promotions. You know, I saw that when I was in broadcasting as well. You know, when you stand up for the conservative beliefs that you believe in, it costs you something. It cost you guys something to come here and to stand up for what we believe in and to stand up for this president. That's why I decided to run for office, because we have to have people that are willing to get in the fight, to get off the sidelines and to get in the game and fight for the things that you believe in. You know, Rebecca and I, my wife who's down here, we prayed about it. We thought about it. The easy way for us was to continue. We were going to be empty nesters this year. We could have retired and not worried about anything and just truly enjoyed our life. But we felt a calling from God to step in and do what Charlie Kirk asked us to do, to stand up for your faith, to stand up for your foundations of what you believe in this country. You know, President Trump reached out and asked me to run for office a couple of times. You know, we've been friends for a number of years, going back to before he was in office, you know, and I wasn't ready to run a few years ago, but I was ready this year. And when he was shot, that was a big moment for me. And I think a lot of you probably asked yourself the same thing. Like, if our president is willing to take a bullet for us, he's willing to fight for us, what am I willing to do? Am I willing to stand up and fight? Am I willing to take on the left? Am I willing to take on all the criticism that's going to come? Yes, I am. And that's why I'm standing here today. And that's why our president keeps doing it. He didn't have to run for office again, but he wanted to get back in to change this country, to fundamentally change it, to do what's best for Americans. That's what he's doing. Think about what he ran on and what he's done so far in this first, not even year and a half. You know, he wanted to close the border. Did he do it? Absolutely. The first thing he did in a month, the Democrats said for 4 years they couldn't close the border. They needed a bill passed. He did it in a month. He put the protection of American people at the forefront of his mind. He does it all the time. Manufacturing. We lost 7.5 million manufacturing jobs, over 90,000 manufacturing plants. For 20 years, neither party did anything about it. President Trump said, no, I'm going to bring those jobs back. I'm going to leverage the countries around the world. I'm going to reset trade parameters. I'm going to force them to invest back into this country. We got to the point we had over minus 20 trillion in investment into this country. Thankfully, the president has brought us back where we have about 10 trillion of investment coming back into this country. That's jobs for Americans. That's a future for our children. He wanted to get rid of men playing in women's sports, men in women's locker rooms. I coached my daughter's high school soccer team here in Arizona, loved doing it. It was one of the greatest joys I've had. I would never have let my girls go out there and compete against a man and put them in a situation where they could get hurt. You know, it's not fair that we've had so many Olympic medals taken away from women. That's the core of what we talk about when we talk about equal rights and giving women opportunity. Democrats want to take that away. They continually put the politics before the protection of Americans. And we have to stand up against that. We're the party of rational. They're the party of the absurd. We are the party of realism, getting things accomplished. They're the party of idealism. They like to talk about what they think they're going to do. Just look at Mondami. He announced yesterday that he was going to open his new grocery store, right? It only costs $30 million, and it's going to be done in 2029. That's socialism at its core. It wastes money, it gets people dependent on the government, and it doesn't accomplish things. So many things right now with the president. You know, they let it in think about this too. Abigail Spanberger, the governor of Virginia, she ran as a moderate. You're going to hear this a lot coming up in this election. She ran as a moderate. Now she's governing as an absolute liberal. They just passed a law that they're going to take the electoral votes in Virginia, not give them to the people of Virginia voted for. They're going to give them to whoever the popular vote is. So what's the Democrats' plan? Well, they let in 10 to 20 million illegals. You know, they want to try to win the presidency, the House and the Senate back. Then they are going to get rid of the filibuster. They're going to stack the Supreme Court. These are all things they've said they're going to do. And then they're going to give amnesty to those 10 to 20 million, and then they're going to have a voter bloc that can never be defeated. We have to stand up against that. We cannot allow that to happen. This election, the whole reason I'm running in this race, and the president asked me to run in CD1, and the reason he endorsed me is because this seat is so important. We have to keep this seat. There's 3 to 5 seats in the country that Democrats know we can go, we can try to flip, and if we flip those, then they're going to win the House. This seat is one of those. Juan Ciscomani's seat in Tucson is one of those. We have to make sure that we're supporting Juan and keep him in office. We have to make sure that we get Katie Hobbs out of the governor's house and put Andy Biggs in. We are a center-right state, and we need to get back to where we belong. It starts with us, though. We have to have the right people running, people that truly want to be the representative of their constituents, that want to go there to serve the people. That's why I wanted to get in office, not to enrich myself like so many people in Congress, but to serve the people of this state. You know, when I think about Charlie Kirk, and I think about his legacy, Rebecca and I were in the White House walking out as we found out about Charlie Kirk. And we were both gutted, like all of you were. She burst into tears, and we laid in bed that night. And she looked at me, and she said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said, "I have more resolve now than I ever have. I know God has put me at this place, at this time, for this reason." We need fighters. Our president is a fighter. When he stood up, when he took a bullet, and he stood up, and he yelled, "Fight," that's the gutsiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Every one of you needs to stand up and fight. I need to stand up and fight. I'm going to fight for you, and that's why we're going to win this seat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love seeing all of you here today. Can I get everybody to just put their hands together for the good men and women of law enforcement, especially Phoenix PD? I don't know if you guys saw what they're having to deal with outside, but these men and women show up, put that badge on every day, and they protect you and I. They deserve all the thanks we can give them. I want to recognize somebody else who's been a legend in law enforcement. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, where are you at, Sheriff? There he is, up front there. Sheriff Joe might be the guy that gets the most applause in this place, I think. Folks, 10 years ago to this year, 10 years ago in 2016, we had a businessman come down the escalator. A man who wasn't a politician, a man who represented what the average American was thinking, who said the things what a lot of Americans were thinking, and he jumped into that political race, took all the political arrows, and what was the slogan that he used that really mobilized Americans across this country? Make America great. And also build the what? Build the wall. That man went into office, and immediately we saw the benefit of having a president who believed in border security and in building the wall. He got to work. He built that wall. And for 4 years, we had the best years in law enforcement that we had had as it relates to border security, drug trafficking, human trafficking. Unfortunately, that story changed in 2020. Boo is right. Boo is right. The Joe Biden administration came in, and immediately, overnight, we started seeing hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands, many thousand coming in a day, sometime exceeding 10,000 people a day. The majority of these men were military-age men from all over the world coming into this country. Many of them didn't love America. And we stood by as our government gave, not only allowed them to come in, but rolled out the red carpet for people that broke our law and came into this country illegally. They stopped building the wall like President Trump had said, what was working. They immediately just gave up and started letting people in. Now what do we have? Crime against Americans. We have fraud from people that probably shouldn't be in this country. We have abuse of our welfare systems. The list goes on and on and on of the problems that precipitated by opening the border and by not finishing building the wall. We're not any different today, although we have a different proverbial wall. We have got to build a red wall in this state and in this country. I think all of us are sick of crime, and President Trump's administration has reduced a lot of crime, but every day we see more and more crime perpetrated by people that are in this country that should have never have been in this country. Now, the previous administration, folks, they let the wolves inside the house. And now we've got to do the best we can to get these wolves out of the house and build a wall so that this never happens again to America and the American people. As you know, I like history. So I was looking, what hit story could I tell from history talking about building a wall? And I found the story of Ticonderoga, which is a fort way back then. The English used it, conquered it against the French. And in 1775, two men, along with a lot of extra soldiers, Ethan Allen, not the furniture guy, and another guy who was a revered war hero at that time, Benedict Arnold. Right? We know him as the traitor. But before that, he was a revered war hero. They took Ticonderoga back and held that fort for 2 years. But eventually, we got weakened along there. We couldn't staff it. We didn't have enough watchmen on the tower of that fort. And in 1777, we lost that fort. It became inconsequential throughout the rest of the war. But that was how important having those walls and fortresses were. And eventually, we ended up losing it because we couldn't stand together. They didn't have enough people to stand together. We need now more than ever to build a red wall in this country, in this state. And that wall, the foundation of that wall, should be God and the Constitution. That is the foundation. And every one of you in here tonight, you'll see some of us up on the stage, but every one of you in here needs to be a piece in that wall, a brick in that wall, a patriot. I would love to be a watchman on the tower for you in Washington, D.C. For you. The sheriff can attest to this. People would say to me, I would critique the government, and people would say, well, Sheriff, you're the government. And I'd say, no, I am your county sheriff. My job is to protect you from the bad guys and from government overreach. I will take that same mentality to Washington, D.C. to protect you, the American people, from increasing government overreach. For those of you who know me, you know my wife is much better than me. I tried to convince her to run for Congress. But I was getting ready today, and my wife and I were talking about things, and she brought up a quote, and I love it, and I want to share it with you today. She said, if not now, when? And if not you, who? And everybody that's going to walk up on this stage understands that now is the time. And you have to be part of it. I'm going to tell you a story of patriotism, because not only will you be the bricks in the wall, but this country was built on men and women who had a desire, an insatiable love and desire for freedom. So much so that they all got together and they penned their name on the Declaration of Independence, knowing that if they failed, that would be a certain death warrant for those men who signed that declaration. But with courage and with a belief in God that they could achieve freedom, they put their names and their signatures on that letter and sent it to the most powerful country in the world. One of those men who signed that Declaration of Independence was a man named Abraham Clark. He was from New Jersey. He had while he was a lawyer and had done some other things, he was very a common man. He was known. He didn't wear the wigs. He didn't wear all the suits. He was a very common man and stood up for the common people. He eventually, at a late notice, was sent to Philadelphia to be one of the signers to finalize the Declaration of Independence. He signed his name on the Declaration while being a prisoner of war. I want you to think about that when you think about the sacrifices that were made to bring you the freedom that we all enjoy, that for generations have enjoyed. But right now, we're not dealing with the typical type of enemy anymore. The enemy is within. Clarence Thomas just put out an article today about the dangers of progressivism in this country. We are no longer dealing with the Democrat Party. We are dealing with socialists and communists. And if you think that's too harsh, I'm sorry. But look no further than Mondami, who they celebrate. Katie Wilson in Seattle, never had a job, now running, Spanberger, who fooled everybody in Virginia. Katie Hobbs. I'm going to tell you right now, I am blessed to follow in and behind such an honorable and good man as Andy Biggs is, and I would hope and when we talk about building this red wall, folks, we have to stand together. I can't put a brick in the wall and have another Republican come and take it out as soon as you put it in. If we're going to build a red wall that will withstand the pressures of progressivism and socialism in this country, and even more so in this state, we must stand together as Republicans. And even more important than that party is we must stand together as God-loving conservatives and constitutionally minded conservatives. I talk about the Declaration of Independence and what it took, the courage that it took to sign their name on the bottom of the Declaration of Independence. We oftentimes we quote different parts of the Declaration of Independence, but for me, the most impactful line is the last line of the Declaration of Independence, right before they signed their names. And what they said, under the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to you, we mutually pledge to each other, our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Unfortunately, Charlie lived that first piece of it. Many of us, we can do what we can to help candidates. We can give money. Some of you should run for office. Some of you should not. Some of you should go out and pass out flyers. There is something that every single one of you can do. And what can I do? I can do something, and I'm running for CD5 Congress. And one more message. You tell them I'm coming.
Please welcome Congressman Juan Ciscomani.
Hello, everyone. This is a great crowd. It's an honor to be with all of you here, all these patriots gathered in one place to celebrate what we stand for. So give yourselves a big round of applause for being here today. I want to start off by thanking President Trump, Tyler Boyer, and the entire Turning Point family for their invitation here today. Thank you for putting on another great event. Of course, to Erika Kirk, thank you for carrying on Charlie's vision and drive to spread the conservative movement. You continue to touch and inspire so many young people, including my own kids. I have 6, so that's a lot of inspiration and help that my wife and I need at home. We all miss Charlie and everything he brought to this world, and we're grateful, Erika, for your strength to carry on. One of the things that Charlie